Good morning. We're going to continue the Kohelet. We are up to Perek Gimel. We're going to do Perek Gimel and on. And it's the coronavirus situation. And we see that how Shlomo HaMelech in this Perek gives us insight into life and how empowers us. And it's getting almost 3 months and we are getting tired. And we need a little bit chizuk, all of us. Therefore, let's get it from Shlomo HaMelech, the wisest person in the world, and listen to his word of Chuchmah and see how he advises us and how he empowers us. Now, we started Lakol Zeman ve'et lechol chefetz tachat hashamayim. If you let me go over the Pesukim one time to hear the Pesukim, then I come back and explain the depth of it. Now, therefore, we start Perek Gimel, Lakol Zeman. Lakol Zeman. Everything has its season. Zeman here means season. Ve'et lechol chefetz tachat hashamayim. And there is a time for everything under the Shammai. Under the Shammai means under the sky, whatever that happens here. The Shlomo HaMelech is saying there are 2 things by everything. Lakol Zeman. For everything there is a season, and et lechol chefetz tachat hashamayim. What's the difference between Zeman and Et? We explain. Let's say that, for example, if you are traveling to Israel, there is a set time that the airplane takes off. It's at 2 o'clock. Therefore, that is the Et. Et is the time of starting point of something. Something starts, that's Et. Zeman is a duration. Now, the flight takes, let's say, 18 hours. That is Zeman. Therefore, Shlomo HaMelech is telling us everything has a duration, is Zeman, and there is a Et, there is a point of happening for each thing. There is a point of happening. It's a time that thing happens. The Et is the point in the time during which every event is destined to take place. Point in the time that takes place, that's Et. Zeman is the duration from the beginning till the end. The Shlomo HaMelech is saying that calls Zeman. For everything there is a duration. No, that duration, everything has a duration to pass by, and for everything in the word chefetz, Rashi says think, so that Mesadavi says desire. We're going to talk about it. Chefetz means 2 things. Chefetz means chafetz, so something that person desires. Chefetz also means things. For everything there is a set time that comes and starts. In other words, no, it's not time for this, no time for that. No, everything has a point in time that is destined to take place. Now let's go over the Pesukim. Et laledet et lamut. There is a time to be born, and there is a time to die. Et lata'at ve'et la'akor natua. There is a time to plant, and there is a time to uproot the planted. Et laharug ve'nirpo. There is a time to kill, and there is a time to heal. There is a time lifros, a time livnot. There is a time to breach, to prune, and there is a time to build. There is a et livkot et liskok. There is a time to weep, to cry. There is a time to laugh. Et sepot et rekot. There is a time to have eulogy, right? There is a time to spot means eulogy, spit on a dead body. In other words, somebody dies. And there is a time to rekot, to dance. Et lahashlich avonim. There is a time to scatter stones. With rekos avonim. There is a time to gather stones. Et lahabok. There is a time to embrace. With lirchov mechabek. And there is a time to shun embraces. Et lebakesh. There is a time to seek. Et leabet. And there is a time to lose. Et lishmor, there is a time to watch, to keep. There is a time to disregard. Et likroa, there is a time to turn, to run. and there is a time to let it fall, to mend, to sew it back. There is a time to silence, and there is a time to speak. There is a time to love, to like, and there is time to hate. There is a time of war, there is a time of peace. What's the profit? What's the profit? The one that does what he is working by his toiling. Very good. That is the theme of Shlomo HaMelech in all of this Kohelet, Maitron. What's the benefit? What gain? What gain then has the worker by his toil? So that is what's happening here. And then it says, and I see the inyan, the conduct, to conduct them with it. Now, let's go back to see what exactly Shlomo HaMelech is trying to say over here. Now, if we follow whatever that is said before, Shlomo HaMelech said that last thing in the end of the second paragraph, Shlomo HaMelech is trying to find out what's the best behavior, how is the best way to conduct a person's life. Where it says that there are people that Hashem made them to gather money, and their life is just gathering money, and they live for somebody that he is a tzaddik. In other words, he gave, last apostle says, Hashem gave L'adam shtu lepanam natan chokhmah v'da'at v'simcha. Somebody who is good in front of him, Hashem gave knowledge and wisdom and happiness. V'lechato, somebody is sinner, natan inyan la'asuf. He lets him gather and lichnot. He works all of the days of his life to give to whatever that he worked to somebody who's good in front of Hashem. Like the example that Rashi brought, famous example in the history of Al Israel, Haman worked so hard and built up his wealth and his position and was given to Mordechai. There were person who could work lifetime and gather and put things together, and that would be for somebody else. That was the last thing he said. Man, the father works so hard. Why is he working so hard? He's working so hard for his children. Therefore, he says that, why is it? What is the point? Why is it that people have to work so hard to live for their children, and they don't know who are they living for? Sometimes the children are sadis or not sadis, and at the end he says that sometimes it doesn't go to children, sometimes it goes to somebody else. And this is Shlomo HaMelech is like it's a heaven. It's a void, and it's a vexation of the spirit in order to see that that the person is a breaking of the spirit of a person, and it's the futility. It's a void to see that the person works all of days of his life. And I told you, Rabbi Weissman says something from Holocaust. They asked somebody that was on Holocaust. They asked him, what was the greatest phenomenon that you saw? You saw everything. Holocaust was full of things to see and watch. And he said one of the things that he was very impressed and had a great impact on him was that he had a friend that was very rich. He gathered so much money and wealth. And when he heard on the day that the Nazis are coming to his house to take away everything from him, then he said, what should I do with all of my wealth? I should give it over to these Nazis, these people that they treat us like animals. You should leave it for them. What did he do? He got all of his money, all of the wealth that he had, all of this money that he had, and he threw them and put it in the toilet and flushed it down. Unbelievable phenomenon. Somebody worked all of this of his life, and now he has all of his wealth in his hand, and with his own hands, he is destroying it. He worked so hard, lifetime he worked for all of this money. And when he got up, he worked, he toiled, he gathered, and all of a sudden, at this moment, he is destroying his life, toil of his life. That is Shlomo HaMelech means. Yam se hevel urut ruach. It's a hevel, it's void, and ruach, vexation of spirit. It breaks the spirit of a person to hear something like that. Now, the way that Russia learns, now, Shmuel Melech tells us that people, they work and they gather money. No, a lot of times you say, okay, Shmuel Melech, you said that, but we see not like that. We see that this person, he gathered money and nothing is happening. He's keeping his money. I want that. Shmuel Melech is coming and say, that's the way that Rashi learns. Shmuel Melech says, Al Ismach Rashi, Al Ismach Osef Behon Mehever Ki'im Kim Achshav Hu Biyado Od Yeshuhu Sadiqim Ela Shadain Lo Yege Aseman Ki Lechoda B'Esman. Says that the Rasha, somebody gathers his money and he is happy that he's gathering and he's gathering, and he says, "Oh, Shmuel Melech said that the Rasha says that I'm gathering for somebody else, but see, I have it." And that says, "Don't worry, there is a set time and set time for everything. Therefore, right now is the time that we gather, and the time comes when you give it over to somebody else." Now, very interesting. If you count that how many et was said in this perek right over here, if you count them, in other words, there is the one et says first, et lechol chefetz tachat hashamayim. Generally, et there is a et, there is a set point of happening for chefetz, for everything, and then it says specific et. Now, if you put everything together, there are 29 et that was said in this perek. Now, Chachamim tell us how come it says 29. In other words, the first et is general et, and then 28 specific ones. Now, Chachamim tell us why did he say 29 et? In other words, 29 point of time that things happens in one's life. 29. What's the significance of 29? Yesterday was Rosh Chodesh Sivan. B'ezrat Hashem, we're gonna have the Torah Kodesh. Now, we know every Chodesh, moon, the cycle of the moon is 29. Therefore, in other words, what does 29 to do with the cycle of moon? With the cycle of moon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu changes the moon and he creates this different 29 days. Now, the Chokhmah of Shmuel Melech is, you have to understand that there's a supervision of HaKadosh Baruch Hu by all these 29 things, point of time that happens. That's like HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the moon, and the moon is put in the sky to be the leading point of the time, and that moon that was created on Wednesday to create the time, that moon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is supervising over the world, over that moon. Now, Chachamim tell us something very interesting. They have sun and moon. Sun is very strong. It comes, shines forth, and with full strength. And moon, as we know as a fact, moon doesn't have any light from itself. It's a reflection of sun. Sun comes with the full gevura and full might. Moon is always changing. It's a little, small circle and becomes bigger and bigger. When it gets to the max, it goes down, little by little. That's the month. So to 15th would go up and 15th would go down. In other words, sun doesn't change, moon all the time is changing. Now, Chachamim tell us, very interesting point, if you would have to pick that one represents Goyim, one represents Bahal Israel, one would think that the sun full shine, strength, and giving such a light to the world, that would be Bahal Israel, and the moon, reflection, and that's not anything from itself, and it becomes very small. That moon would be going. The sun would be Kahal Israel, moon would be going. But Torah tells us no. What represents Kahal Israel is moon. What represents Goyim or sun is sun. Sun represents Goyim, and moon represents Kahal Israel. Now why? We love to be sun. No. Sun is much nicer. It shines, has the full force, full power. It comes and shines, gives light to everything. photosynthesis. Without sun, there is no living. In other words, we need oxygen, we need gifts. All of the vitality of Olam Hazeh is on sun. But Chachamim tell us the Hal Yisrael are moon. The Hal Yisrael are not. The representative of Hal Yisrael is moon. But what's there? What's there? Every morning we get up, we see the sun shines, and we see scientifically how vital is the existence of sun. Without sun, we cannot live. We cannot have normal function. Even oxygen is through sun, photosynthesis. And that blinds our eyes. And we feel that's the most important thing in life. Chachamim come along and tell us the Har Israel, don't be deceived by the sun. Don't lose your mind. Don't lose your sechel. Yes, sun shines, but the real job in this world is moon, not sun. Why? Because there is something greater than shining like a sun, with full force. You know what's more important than that? Moon. What's so special about moon? What does moon does? That's so important. Moon changes. Moon is growing. Moon every day changes. And that change makes him grow, makes him understand life better, makes him to get to himself better, makes him to recognize himself and the world around him and act accordingly. Sun just shines and shows power, but it doesn't get to know himself and the Beriah. Beriah, creation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is not for shining and showing might. The creation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is acting like moon, changing and growing, and understanding that in life there are 29 days. Like Shlomo Melech is saying over here, there are 29 at point of time that things happen. And all of this happening should not run you. You should run them. And that is the idea of the moon. That's the idea of changes of life. Everything changes around you. No, two things could happen. These changes control you and makes your mood. Let's say, here, the moon is so small. You look at the moon and say, it's a sad day. You see a shining moon, and then you say, wow, it's a happy day. No, that's not the way that you should be. The way that you should be is like a moon, that the moon is reflection of light, is the achievement of itself. And it grows and grows and grows. When it gets to the peak, he realizes how much more it's there to discover. I'm not at the peak to be known and to understand that I finished my job. I just finished a cycle. There are much more cycles to come. There are more cycles to do. In other words, a lot of times in Avodah HaKadosh Baruch Hu, oh, Baruch Hashem, I keep Shabbat, I keep mitzvot, I go to Daf Yomi, I learn every day, this and that, In other words, becoming Eved Hashem is for those that they don't keep kashrut, they don't keep Shabbat. Baruch Hashem, I'm a full moon. I'm a full moon. I did a good job on myself. I'm a full moon. Therefore, I don't need to try so much. I don't need to see things. But no, the idea of the moon is when you finish one cycle, you understand how many more cycles are there to accomplish. Not just to be like a sun, to be within yourself, the might and the power, and show the power and the might and be happy with that. And that's it. That's the shining. That's it. That's Olam Hazeh. No. Olam Hazeh is there for us to change. Olam Hazeh is there to make movement, to move forward and go further and further and grow like a moon grows. And when you get a complete cycle, when a person gets complete cycle, what happens? When you get a complete cycle, you realize, not that I finished, now I'm done with the job. No, you realize right now with the chokhmah and the wisdom that you get through that cycle, how many more cycles there are there to be accomplished. How many more? Therefore, you drop down and you start a new cycle. You start a new growth. You start a new adventure in life to be Eved of Hashem. Therefore, in Shema Melech over here, it says there are 29 Et, refers to the moon, and that's Kahal Israel. Kahal Israel, doesn't subjugate himself to the Et. In other words, that is what Goyim are. Goyim don't got nothing. Just the occasions makes them. Occasion is happy, they are happy. Occasion is sad, they are sad. No. But Kahal Israel, what makes Kahal Israel is they control over themselves. The control they have over themselves. They don't let occasion take them, but they capture the occasion. Of course, we capture the occasion when we act accordingly, but wisely, with all chokhmah and pina. Not, what's the difference? The difference is like this. Let's say, for example, one of the things that we say over here at this spot, there is et livkot or lispot, et livkot. In other words, say it's a tragedy happens for a person. A person is time of crying. A guy or somebody doesn't believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu is immerses himself in crying. The crying takes him over. He loses himself. And anything could happen to him. Anything could happen to him. Psychologically, he is down. And, in that period of time, anything could happen to him. In other words, the person is a machine. And once you shut down the machine, anything could happen to a person. Psychology becomes depressed. And it would be very hard to get him out of depression. And, we need a lot of therapy and medication because he lost himself. But the Kahal Israel also cries. I'm not saying that Kahal Israel are machine. Et livkot. But they understand is the et, is the point of time that took place. And there is a zaman, there is a duration for it. And it's over. It's going to be over. And I don't let myself to be shut down and let the et to take me over. No, I'm under control. I control it. I don't let him to get to myself too much, to get to me, to destroy me. In other words, I'm bigger than that. I'm bigger. I don't let that. I told you, that's what HaKadosh says, that the world is a toy. I jumped. What means the world is a toy? Yes, world is a toy. How could the world be a toy? The word of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is such a significant in life. It's a toy. What's toy? First of all, toy for children is very important. It improves them. It builds them up. It nurtures them. You don't understand sometimes, but you have to understand the reality is toy nurtures the children. Through the playing with the toy, they get vitality of life. Now, Zohar HaKadosh says the world is a toy. The only question on the table is who is playing with whom. In other words, life is a toy. Who becomes a toy? I, with my chokhmah, my wisdom, with my neshama, the portion that Hashem gave to me, I become the toy of this eating. I become the toy of the world. I let the will of the world, the cycle of the world to just run me. And I go around as a subject to the world with the different eating, subjugates me and takes me over. I become toy of the world. Or you understand, Hashem gave us brain, Hashem gave us chokhmah, Hashem gave us neshama. And this chokhmah and neshama dictates that this chokhmah and neshama dictates that we gonna be ruling over the eating. I use them as the toy to improve myself. I use them as a toy to grow and become a different person, understand different, relate to HaKadosh Baruch Hu different, to become a greater person. It empowers a person. That is what Shlomo Melech is saying here. Now it's very interesting Targum. Now Targum, a lot of times, a lot of depth in Targum. Now let's see what does Targum says over here. Targum says, "Lechol gevar yet zemna ve'idona lechol yisrat yechol shamayim." Very interesting. Lakol zeman. First, Shlomo Melech says lakol. For everything, there is a zeman, means duration. For things, there is a et. In other words, in the pasuk, he differentiates between kol, zeman, and chefes, duration. In other words, for lakol is a zeman, is a duration. And for et, for chefes, there is a et. For chefes, for things that has happens, there is a point in time that happens. But for lakol is the duration. Now, Ongolos is saying, what is it? Lechol gevar yete zimna. In other words, he learns lakol gevar yete zimna. For lakol, every person, there's a zimna, there's a duration. And there is a idana, there's a point of time of happening for anything under the earth. Unbelievable Targum. In other words, Targum is explaining to us that lakol zeman goes on Adam. Adam has a duration. HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought Adam on this earth. This is the man. There's a duration that Adam is. There's a duration that Adam is on this world. Duration. Now, that duration, what happens to Adam? There is the etnical cheves ha'adashaman. There is the duration, lifetime that the person is on earth. They call zeman. For every giver, there is a zeman, there's a duration. Now, in this duration that the Adam is there are things that happens on a set time. Now, Shlomo Melech is going to explain what's supposed to happen to a person. A person, that lifetime of duration, he subjugates himself to this time and becomes a toy of all of this time, that calls the man duration that the person lives on earth. Or no, person understands I have a lifetime here, and this eating are going to be over. This eating are not primary point of my life. My life is my duration, my lifetime, that I have a duty to do. I have a mission to carry. These occasions that happens different time helps me in my life, in my duty, how to carry myself. Therefore, that's why God says, Lakol Zeman is the duration. For a person on earth, there is a time. And understanding that there are different occasions in life, and these occasions are going to be passed by, it's a very important and vital for human beings to know. In other words, very specialist in depression, when he talks about what happens, that people go deep down to depression and they cannot get out. Why? Because somehow mentally they convince themselves that this duration stays forever. This thing that happened at the point of time, I cannot get out of it. Once he convinces himself that he cannot get out of it, he cannot get out of it. That's it. No, it's a very interesting point, a psychological person. Once the person convinces himself that I cannot do it, he cannot do it. That's the greatest weapon of Yetzer Hara. The greatest weapon of Yetzer Hara, convincing a person, you cannot do it. I cannot do this mitzvah, I cannot be happy because of this and that. I cannot do this because of this and that. Once it convinces a person that you cannot do it, that's it. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Adam Arishon, why did you eat from this tree? You know what the Adam Arishon said? The Rishon say, Harishon atatari ve'ochel. It says ve'achal, it says ve'ochel. What's the difference between ve'achal ve'ochel? Ve'achal means Aisha gave it to me that I ate. Ve'ochel means Aisha gave it to me and I eat. Adam Harishon told HaKadosh Baruch Hu the occasion that Aisha created for me to eat. I did it. And if it happens again, I'm going to do it because I cannot overcome. I cannot overcome. This is the ochal, the ochel. I cannot overcome. The Zohar HaKadosh says that made the life to be the way that it is right now because of this statement that Adam Rishon said. Adam Rishon would have said, the ochal, I ate, but next time I try not to eat it. I'm going to be careful. I empower myself. He didn't say that. He made the world true, to destroy the world and create a world with the sin that we are right now here. Because he said, I cannot do it. That's the way that Yetzer Hara fights with the person. Therefore, the deepest psychology of a person is, Shlomo is telling us, is everything has its own proper time. Now, if you give over to this time and you nullify yourself, the time takes you over and you feel depression and that's it. But you have to understand, I have a duration to live, like Ongola says, in this time, my lifetime, I have a duration. Expires. Now, this eating, these things are not supposed to take me over. They are just occasion in my life. How do I relate to them? How to use them? How to utilize them? I'm not a machine. No. We're not saying a person should be a machine. But there is a difference between a person giving over himself to the earth and he loses it and becomes so depressed, or a person controls it. Yes, no, it's not the time of dancing, but I'm not going to subjugate myself to this tragedy or these things. And it's a coronavirus also same thing. It's a period passes by. Person should not feel that I'm deeply, but go more and more inside. And how are we going to come out? That no, who created the world. The course the man. There's a duration in the flying. The whole double. There is a set time that it comes and it goes passes by. Therefore, the greatest chuchmah that Shlomo Melech is telling us, there are different occasions in life that happens. Is at the point of life of a person happens. And these occasions are 28. What's 28? 28 is kovach, strength. What is the strength of a person? When the strength of a person is when a person realizes that these moments, these occasions are not taking me over. I rule over them. That is the greatest power of a person. That's kovach. Therefore, person realizes these occasions and accordingly acts. The most important thing is that the person would not nullify himself those occasions. Now, et laledet, Rashi says, what does Rashi say, et laledet? The Tisha Chodashim. In other words, Rashi learns, et laledet means Tisha Chodashim. In other words, the person, it's time to be born. After Tisha Chodashim, the person, after 9 months, the person is born. Et laledet. It's time to be born. Et laledet, it's time. In other words, after 9 months, the person would be born. Et laledet. In other words, the baby stays 9 months in the womb. It gets ready to be born. Et lamut. Rashi says, who set the time for all of the people. There's a time that he is born and it's time that he dies. Therefore, that is the first thing that Shlomo Melech says. Therefore, the person has to understand there's a life. Life doesn't stay forever. The person has to understand, therefore, Shlomo Melech is beginning all of, in other words, the etim with the birth, and there's a time to born, birth and die, to understand that, this is the people feel that the birth, and that is the natural cycle of life. First, people go through. Now, Shmuel wants to say that no, this is a team that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created in the prayer, and there's a lifespan for a person. Therefore, that makes a person to understand cheshivut of every minute of his life. So the first point that Shmuel is making here is the first point that Shmuel is making here is that the person has to understand the cheshivut of his life is the first thing that the person has to know. Now, Rashi says, Et laledet is a time to be born. Ongolo says, Idon bechir lemelat benin, uvnon, ve'idon bechir lekatola benin. Misal merasin lekatoluton, ve'avnaya al memar dayana idon bechir lemitzavev ilon. Okay. Idon bechir, in other words, he says that Idon Bechir Lemelat is a time that the person Lemelat to give birth, and there's a time Bechir Lemelat Benin to give birth to children, Benin Ubnon, to the boys and girls, sons and daughters, Idon Bechir Lekatola Benin. Right. And there is a time to give birth, and this time of Katola, the Moses Katola begin Mistarvin, Mraksin, the Kalaton, the Avnaya, Almimar Dayana. In other words, and there is a time to give birth, and there is a time to kill. Now, Lamut, Ongolo says, the Kalaton Avnaya, Almimar Dayana, Idan Almimar Dayana. In other words, there is a time that kill Benin, that they rebel and Margizin, and they go against the law, and there is an order from Dayana that to kill them. Al-Mimar Dayana. Interesting. In other words, the Ongolos learns that Et Lalede de Lamo different than Rosh. Ongolos learns that the significance of the Lechol Zeman, there is a time, is the fact that the person could give life. In other words, Rashi learns is a time to be born. Et laledet. It's a time to be born. Rashi emphasizing the fact that you are born and Hashem gave you life. No, there is a lamut means natural death. Natural death means that there is a period of time that you love, it's destined by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, Rashi is emphasizing the fact that you have a life, and the fact that there is a destination, life gets over. That's the way that Rashi learns. But Ongola says much different. Ongola says et laledet et lamut. Et laledet means there is a time to give birth, to give life. In other words, in life there is a time to give life. In other words, it starts the significance of an Adam. Now there is a machluk with Rashi and Ongolos. What's the significance of Adam? The Adam is the fact that he was given life to, the type of life that was not given to animals, that special life that's edladed, or the speciality of Adam is to give life, give birth to the sons, daughters. He could produce life. That's the significance of Adam. And in other words, opposing of that, Ongolos learns that in a lot of time, the Katola, in other words, and there's a time that this person that was given life, this person gave birth, he has the authority also to kill somebody else. Therefore, when you think about it, he's saying that Adam, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created you, unbelievable. He gave you such a power that you could give birth to bring out new neshama in the world, and you have such a responsibility and you get such a stature that you could destroy somebody. Al-Mimar Dayan. Now it becomes the Sanhedrin, the bidding of the Har Israel. You have the authority to even to kill somebody, to take away that life. That is the significance of Adam. That you could give birth to produce life, and the significance is that you get such a power to become part of the Sanhedrin and to decide for somebody that you should not be on this earth. That's the way that Rosh is. There is a time to plant, and there is a time to uproot the plant. In other words, et latat goy mamlocha, vet laakor et yavo lehi aker. In other words, Rashi learns plant over here. What does planting mean? All of this means kipshuto, the simple meaning, and means deeper. Now Rashi goes a little bit deeper, and this is not just planting trees. There's a time to plant the trees, and when it dries out, and this, we have time to uproot it. That's not worth it. The root is decayed, and it might fall somebody up to uproot it. But now we said, et latat goy mamlocha. There is a time that Hashem plants in the period Goy Mamlacha, brings the other nations in the world, with Lakor. There's a time Yabole Yaker, they should be destroyed. Therefore, et latat et Lakor natua. Therefore, there is a time that Hashem brings, Rashi learns, Goy Mamlacha, nations in the world, and et Lakor, a time comes to be Lakor. Now, it's interesting the way that Rashi is understanding Goy Mamlacha. In other words, we know that there are 70 nations in the world. Now, Rashi tells us, the Apostle tells us, that's a Givulot Amim Kemiswa Bnei Israel. The Apostle says in Ha'azinu that the Kodesh Baruch Hu puts the mispar of the nations like Am Israel. There's the apostle in Ha'azinu that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that Hashem puts the nations when he divided inheritance Elyon Goyim, Hashem, the nations, the Hapido Ben Adam, when he scattered Ben Adam, Yasir Gevlot Amim. He put the borders of the Amim. He puts the limitations of the Amim, Gevulot Amim, the Mitzvah Bnei Israel. Now, Gevulot, the limitations of the nations, the number of the nations, the limits of the nations, the Mitzvah Bnei Israel to the numbers of Bnei Israel. Now, Rashi says, what does that mean to numbers of Bnei Israel? Rashi says that Pasuk means the Mitzvah Bnei Israel, Bishvil Mitzvah Bnei Israel. In other words, he kept the nation Le Mitzvah Bnei Israel. Bishvil Mitzvah Bnei Israel. It's because of the numbers of Bnei Israel, Shatim Laseh Bnei Hashem, that they're going to come out from Hashem. Ul Mitzvah Shivim Nefesh Bnei Israel, Shardun Mitzvahim, Hitziv Gevulot Amim. For the Mitzvah of the Shivim Nefesh, 70 souls of Bnei Israel that go to Mitzvahim, Hitziv Gevulot Amim, Shivim Lashon. In other words, the Kahal Israel 70 went to Mitzrayim, and from these 70 souls that they went to Mitzrayim, the Kahal Israel came about. It's a big good Amim Shemar Lashon. In other words, he put 70 Lashon, 70 nations, according to 70 souls that they went on to Mitzrayim. Very interesting. Mispar Ben Israel. The word also saying, yes, the Gevulot Amim is Ben Israel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the limitations of the Amim, the nations, to the Mispar of Ben Israel, and Rashi says 70 souls that they went to Mitzrayim. These are the 70 nations. Now the question is, what's the connection? Why Torah has to tell us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in other words, is saying the privilege for Am Israel? What's Pasuk telling us? When HaKadosh Baruch Hu inherited the nations and separated them and divided them, do you know what the number of the nations are? The number of the nations are the number of the Shivim Nefesh that they went down to Mitzrayim. Now, what's the significance of that? Oh, this is what HaKadosh tells us, is that a person has 70 kochot. In other words, Pashut, in other words, the Periya is 7, and you have 10 Sefirot. There are 70 kochot in the Adam, and 70 kochot in the Periya and the creation. In other words, there's Adam is the person is miniature of the Bria, and the greater Bria is Adam also. There are 70 kochot, there is 70 power in a person. There is kochot hanefesh. There are 70 types of power within a person. Now, to create Am Yisrael, we need a representative of these 70 souls that they went to Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim was like a womb to create Am Yisrael. Now, we needed to have these 70 souls that each one of them represents primary one of these kochot to create Am Yisrael. Now, to preserve all of these kochot, we have 70 nations that each nation brings out one of these kochot. Now, the culture of that nation is one of these kochot. They are preservative for this kochot that Am Yisrael is being created. This 70 would be this 70 that brings about the kochot of Am Yisrael. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the Gevulot Amim, Mitzvah Ben Israel. Every nation and nation is a culture that culture brings out that one of the kochot, preserve that koach, that Hal Israel should have all of this kochot, and through all of this kochot, Hal Israel comes about. Therefore, the Apostle is saying as the existence of the nations are there for Am Yisrael, to preserve Am Yisrael, to make Am Yisrael to be what they are. In other words, Shavuot is coming up, and know that the root is from Moab. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, when Midian and Moab went against Hal Israel, and they made them astray, and they made them involved in adultery and to idol worshiping, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, destroy the Midian. But Hashem didn't say to destroy Ammon and Moab. Now Rashi says over there, how come Moab also was as guilty as Midian? How come Hashem didn't command to destroy Moab also? He says, Pedo Achad is Yotzeh from this nation. You have to, because the root comes out from this nation, that will be mother of Mashiach. Since the root comes out as the mother of Mashiach, Hashem didn't say that to kill out this nation. Now the question is, why? If you need root, keep the parents of root and let root come about. Why do you need to keep a nation for just a girl? One girl that should come root, why do you have to keep the nation for the root? Just keep the family. If they are guilty, they are criminal, they have to be destroyed. Let's do the verdict. And now you need root, keep the parents of the root, and that would be good. Also, that's exactly what you are saying here. No, keeping the family doesn't help us, because somehow the Mashiach has to come out from the nation of Moab. Therefore, we need the culture of Moab to produce the Mashiach. And that has to come out from the root. Now, the single person is root. Now, if we want to keep root with the culture of Moab, that Mashiach should come about, we need to keep the country. If we just keep root, and root would cultivate it in another culture, that culture of Moab would not produce the root Moavi. We need root to be Moavi, because to bring the Mashiach. No, why Moavi? Because why Moab is what? From the daughter of Lot. Daughter of Lot saw that the world is into destruction. The world got destroyed. There is nobody around. Now imagine two girls and the father. They perceive that the world came to an end. What happens? Nowadays, this small thing happens to a person, the person is depressed. He loses himself. Now, these daughters didn't lose themselves. They said, okay, we're gonna build. In the midst of darkness, you empower yourself to build. You don't give up. You don't become depressed and lose yourself. That is Mashiach. This is the power that we need for Mashiach. Therefore, we need root Moavi to grow with the culture of Moab to bring the Mashiach. Therefore, we cannot destroy this nation. We need this nation to be there, to cultivate that power that the Father put in this nation, that even in the darkest moment, we don't give up. We need that power to bring the Mashiach. Therefore, we have to keep the nation that this daughter should get the culture, should grow in that culture and that atmosphere to get and to convey that to Mashiach for us. Therefore, every culture has some points to be preservative for Palestine. Now, Rashi here is saying, in other words, there is a time for every culture and culture to be there, to preserve. Some people have said, and sometimes God let Yabul Akai, time comes that they should be destroyed. It's Amalek, Avodah Baruch says has to be destroyed. His nation has to be destroyed. And finally, all of them would be destroyed unless those that they submit themselves to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, here, Rashi gives us a deeper understanding of Et Lata'at and Et Akor Natua. It's not just trees in the nature, it's a deeper meaning. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In other words, what's the point? The point is, we have nations around ourselves. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in other words, what's happening around us is not just the happening of the natural phenomena. It happens, it's a mikri. No, it latat et akor natua. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, plans of the nation, gives them power, empowers the nation, and downfall of the nation. All of that is in the light of Mashiach. The world is moving to bring the Mashiach. Coronavirus also has a period of time to bring the light of Mashiach. Whatever that's happening around us to makes us to bring the light of Mashiach. It was not just happening, this in the world, something happens. The most important thing is that the whole man, person has understand duration of lifetime and the occasions passes by. B'ezrat Hashem, our Lord would help us that we should overcome this period of time, and the most important thing is that we should grow from it. That's the most important thing.